one vote.
You sound just like every other politician.
Do I look like every other politician?
And I knew if I told you
Bobby had an affair with this woman. An affair.
He didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, actually, I haven't practiced yet. We just had been when I finished law school.
Well, I had a nice time, but I think we ought to wait on the kiss.
That wouldn't have happened. And the sadness never go away. It'll always be with me.
Receive that with grace. I was making a decision that I wouldn't be able to look in the mirror.
The red carpet bulbs pop like fireworks, the crowd roars so loud you feel it in your ribs, and every lens tilts toward one woman who never misses her mark. That flash you see, it isn't luck, it's Regina King's latest news exploding in real time, and tonight you're getting the chapter Hollywood Keeps Off the Teleprompter. Picture a 16-year-old sitcom kid stepping on stage with a shy grin, then fast forward to an Oscar winner who tells studio chiefs to double the budget or step aside. Sounds wild, right? Stay close, because Regina King's scandal update is wilder than every rumor meme combined. In the next few minutes, you'll hear about the hush-hush contract that tripled her salary overnight, the Valentine's Day breakup that almost erased a dream role, and the sunrise phone call that cracked her heart but forged her next act. You'll see how a South LA girl learned to stretch $100 like magic, why she once sold Girl Scout cookies between takes, and how she now signs back-end deals big enough to scare accountants. Ready to feel goosebumps? Smash that like button so more people catch this ride, drop the first Regina King role you ever saw in the comments, and tell me, was it 227 Boys in the Hood or The Boondocks? Hit send because your answer might pop up on screen later in the video. Now take a breath, lean in, and let's dive before the lights fade. Regina grew up under the bright California sun, but inside a small two-bedroom on 84th Place. Her mom, Gloria, answered phones by day and balanced checkbooks by night, while her dad, Thomas, slipped in and out like a ghost. Money lived from envelope to envelope, and quiet nights were rare. Gloria drilled 2 rules: work hard, save harder. She taped those words by the refrigerator, and Regina copied them into every school notebook she owned. When casting calls popped up, Gloria drove her daughter across the city in a dented Pinto that rattled like a drumline. Auditions meant cramped hallways, warm soda, and long waits. But Regina treated every 2-minute read like a finals speech. At 16, the grind paid off. A single phone call changed everything. She booked the sitcom 227 as Brenda Jenkins. Suddenly, her face beamed from every American living room. Checks rolled in like birthday cards stuffed with cash. Still, Gloria refused the instant star illusion. She deposited each paycheck, paid bills, and tucked the rest into a lockbox. Regina begged for a car, and after 6 months of steady shooting, she bought a sky blue Toyota MR2 with her own money. Imagine pulling up to Crenshaw High in a brand new sports car you earned before senior year. Sounds sweet, yet homework still piled, chores still called, and Gloria still said no to wasteful spending. The message landed: fame is fickle, but discipline saves the day. After 227 wrapped, Hollywood cooled fast. Offers faded, many teen stars crashed here. Fast cash, zero backup plan. Regina took voice lessons, pored over acting books, and studied theater history when friends hit parties. She auditioned for dramatic roles most casting directors thought she was too young to handle, and she learned to wait. Patience paid off in 1991 when John Singleton cast her in Boys in the Hood. That cameo stretched her brand and planted her face in movie trailers across the country. Poetic Justice followed, then Friday and Jerry Maguire. Each small part became a ladder rung. She learned lighting tricks, crew lingo, and set politics. On lunch breaks, she grilled cinematographers about camera angles, then shadowed directors after wrap, jotting notes on how they moved actors through space. By the late 90s, Regina wasn't just booking jobs. She was building a private film school. Love entered stage left in 1995 when she met Ian Alexander Sr., a record label executive at Quest. Sparks flew, and within a year, their son Ian Jr. arrived. Marriage followed in 1997. Outsiders saw a Hollywood fairy tale, rising star wife, music biz husband, cute baby in designer booties. Reality stung. Ian Sr. cheated, dabbled in hard drugs, and rolled home at sunrise. Regina hid the heartbreak behind flawless takes. After 9 tense years, she filed for divorce, walked away with full custody, and vowed her son would never feel abandoned. Parenting reshaped every career choice. She accepted only LA shoots, declined roles in Canada and Europe, and pivoted to guest spots that were wrapped by dinner. Producers nicknamed her the one-take queen because she nailed scenes under schedule and under budget. Directors loved her timing, and editors loved her continuity. Regina King became the safety net studios prayed for when time ran short. Animation called next. In 2004, she leapt into The Boondocks, voicing both Huey and Riley Freeman. Playing two brothers sharpened her vocal range, taught her mic technique, and introduced her to world-class sound design. Off-camera, she kept the same study rhythm. Learn every station in the recording booth, track how audio engineers shaped a single syllable, quiz writers on pacing. Meanwhile, she packed her resume with drama. Ray, Southland, Miss Congeniality 2. She even slipped into 24, trading sitcom charm for edge-of-seat tension. Hollywood still lagged on diversity, but Regina refused invisibility. In 2013, she wrote an op-ed for the Huffington Post, listing cold numbers. Out of 46 guest actor Emmy nominations, only 2 were black. Some warned she'd get blacklisted. Instead, 2 years later, she booked American Crime, delivered a performance that rattled viewers, and grabbed her first Emmy. When she thanked the Television Academy, she reminded them that trophies feel heavier when they rewrite the rulebook. Love tried again. Longtime friend Malcolm Jamal Warner, who she'd known since her 227 days, stepped from buddy to boyfriend in 2011. They moved in, blended households, and planned forever. Valentine's Day 2013 should have glowed with roses and champagne. Instead, Malcolm ended everything in one conversation. Regina packed, hugged her son, and drove to the studio at dawn. No public meltdown, no social media clapback. Work answered heartbreak once more. 2 extra Emmys followed for American Crime and 7 Seconds. Then lightning struck. In 2019, she won the Oscar for If Beale Street Could Talk. She raised the statue above her head, thanked James Baldwin, and proved the power of steady momentum. Early 2020 finally handed Regina King a director's chair. She helmed One Night in Miami, turning a stage play about Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke into a tense film that felt like eavesdropping on history. Critics raved. The directors branch of the Academy noticed. Regina became one of the few black women to direct an Oscar-nominated feature debut. During press tours, she read directing manuals between interviews. Late nights in hotels turned into planning sessions for her own production banner, Royal Ties. She wanted green light power, not just great roles. Then, The Darkest Dawn, January 21st, 2022. Regina King's latest news shredded timelines when Ian Jr. died by suicide at 26. He had fought depression for years, tried therapy, switched medications, and leaned on his mom's endless support. Regina held him through panic attacks, paid for top doctors, and never let him feel alone. Yet that morning, she got the call every parent fears. The ache crawled into her bones. She left his room untouched, saved every voice memo, and talked to him out loud in the kitchen. Still, she promised to honor him by living loud. When the shock threatened to freeze her, she pressed play on his music demos, breathed, and got up again. 2 years later, Regina King's scandal update flipped from loss to legacy. She stepped onto the set of Shirley, a biopic about Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress. Regina produced, her sister Raina wrote. The script took 15 years of rewrites and elevator pitches. Studios passed, funds dried up, and focus groups balked. Regina kept pushing. Now the cameras finally roll, and Regina's paycheck includes an 8% back-end cut, proof she negotiates like a boss. She spends mornings blocking scenes, afternoons rewriting dialogue, and evenings Zoom critiquing Raina's new pages until midnight. Hollywood politics still twist like vines, budgets wobble, equity talks stall, and leading roles for women past 40 vanish. Regina counters with receipts. 4 Emmys, 1 Oscar, 1 Golden Globe, 2 Critics' Choice Awards, and a net worth of nearly $6 million. She uses that leverage to back first-time directors, bankroll indie films, and insist on diverse crews. When studios balk at parody, she opens her backpack, removes every trophy photo, and points to the bottom line. Profit doesn't lie. Between set days, Regina mentors film students at USC, guest lectures on pay transparency, and Zoom reads scripts from writers in Nairobi and Atlanta. She calls these seed meetings. Some bloom, some die, but every chat leaves a trace of possibility. At home, she FaceTimes Gloria, who now lives 10 minutes away and shares new recipes. Gloria reminds her that work hard, save harder rules never expire, even when the paychecks look like phone numbers. Quick checkpoint. Has Regina King's scandal update shifted how you see perseverance? Type shifted if yes, or steady if you already lived by that grind. And tell me, which move do you think changed her career more? The op-ed that shamed the Emmys or the Oscar that stunned the crowd? Your answers steer the debate thread we're pinning at the top. Let's dig deeper. Did you know Regina once shot a scene with a 103-degree fever because the insurance clock was ticking? She drank electrolytes, finished 2 takes, and slept for 14 hours. She charged 0 overtime, but production bought the crew dinner to honor her grit. Another shocker, during Southland, she rewrote a monologue minutes before cameras rolled because a real LAPD officer on set said the jargon felt off. Regina grabbed a pen, nailed the rewrite, and the scene landed in the season trailer. Also, she keeps every original script in climate-controlled storage. Color-coded tabs mark character arcs, deleted scenes, and lines she turned into ad-libs. She plans to auction the set one day for scholarships. Fun, right? Here's another. Regina can still recite every Brenda line from 227 and sometimes sneaks one into new roles for eagle-eyed fans. Which of those hidden details blew your mind? Type the number, fever scene, police rewrite, script vault, or Brenda callback, and explain why. Regina King's latest news also includes philanthropic sparks. She funds mental health clinics in South LA, underwrites therapy scholarships, and sponsors an annual film boot camp for high school girls. Last year, she donated editing bays to a community college near Watts, then dropped in unannounced to teach Final Cut shortcuts. Students freaked so loud security thought something broke. And yes, she still signs autographs after class. Let's talk about money, power, and influence. The Triple Crown. Regina's first 227 season paid about $15,000 per episode. Her rate on Shirley cracks 7 figures up front, plus that tasty back end. A paycheck jump like that doesn't happen by chance. She negotiated with a smile and a spreadsheet, showing how her name spikes search trends. She also demanded green rooms for nursing moms, eco-friendly set builds, and minimum 40% women in department head roles. Studio suits blinked twice, then signed. That's power. Reactions in Hollywood circle fast. Veteran director Ava DuVernay calls Regina a walking masterclass. Denzel Washington texts her after premieres with 2-word reviews like, "keep climbing." Even Tom Cruise, her Jerry Maguire co-star, once surprised her with a phone call thanking her for elevating a scene he almost cut. Online, fans debate her best role. Some argue it's Angela Abar in Watchmen, others say Leslie in If Beale Street Could Talk, while animation lovers swear the dual power of Huey and Riley trumps all. Which side wins? Drop your vote and let's settle it live. Critics also weigh in. Variety credits her with raising the bar for actor-turned-directors, while the New York Times lists her op-ed among the top industry shakeups of the last decade. Streaming platforms report that anything tagged with Regina King boosts completion rates by 15%. That stat alone makes executives scramble for her signature. Now comes the lightning round of hidden gems. Regina once disguised herself in a hoodie at Comic-Con, asked 3 fans to rank her own performances, and filmed their answers for a private blooper reel. She cooks a legendary peach cobbler that castmates beg for on rap night. She owns a 50-year-old Fender guitar gifted by the estate of Jimi Hendrix and practices blues scales during lunch breaks. She can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes, a trick she learned to quiet nerves before auditions. Finally, she's a huge Lakers fan and keeps a game-worn Kobe jersey framed above her writing desk for inspiration. Which fact lands hardest? Comic-Con prank, cobbler secret, Hendrix guitar, Rubik's flex, or Kobe tribute? Share below and let's see what shocks the squad most. Regina King's scandal update proves mastery in 3 arenas: guarding her circle, leveling up her skills, and turning heartbreak into gasoline. That car insurance lesson when Gloria wrecked the Sweet 16 MR2? Regina laughs about it and insists every teen actor take driver's ed. Those Emmy snubs? She framed the op-ed next to the trophies as proof you can complain and still win. That divorce? She calls it a pivot, not a pitfall. Losing Ian? She plays his beats through studio speakers before each take, so he's part of the soundtrack. What's next on the horizon? Word circles that Regina King's latest news will soon feature her in a sci-fi series set on a floating city run by Black engineers. She's producing and starring. Another buzz says Marvel is courting her to direct a Wakanda spin-off. When pressed for confirmation, she smiles and says anything can happen on page 1 of a new script. Translation, you'll find out when the ink dries. Ready for the takeaway? Life hands out plot twists nobody orders, but response is your superpower. Regina King faced betrayal, grief, bias, and raised stakes. She kept learning, kept delivering, and kept cashing checks big enough to change neighborhoods. If life just winged you a curveball, ask, what scene am I in and how do I nail it? Then get moving. If tonight's breakdown taught you something real, hammer that like so. The algorithm sends Regina King's latest news to everyone who needs a lift. Smash subscribe so you never miss a fresh Regina King scandal update or any deep dive on legends who turn pain into power. One last prompt, tell me which moment of Regina's journey hit you hardest and why. I'll pin the most inspiring take. Share this video with a friend chasing a comeback, ring the bell for instant alerts, and meet me in the next story. Until then, keep chasing your own award-winning life, guard your peace, and let the camera roll on greatness.